Hello everybody, I hope everyone is doing well and welcome back. In today's video, I wanted to do a look using the new Cosmetics Venetian Rose eyeshadow palette. Here she is, so beautiful. I'm super excited to dive into this palette, and while I'm at it, I thought I would do an updated full face of Cosmetics. I feel like they've grown quite a bit as a brand since the last one I've done a couple years ago, and I know I've been doing a lot of full face of one brands recently, and I was hoping they'd be a bit more staggered, but I'm still patiently waiting for other products I've ordered for other videos I had planned. So this is just how the cookie crumbled this month. So before we get into it today, I would love for you to subscribe if you aren't already. It means so much to me, and let's get to it. I have my baby kitties in the back there today. So the first thing I'm going to be applying is the Daydream Cushion Foundation, and I'm using the shade Gentle Light today. This is one of my all-time favorite base products. It just always looks incredible. It's super reliable, and I find it to be very, very blurring. So on the days where I have a bit more texture and things, I just love reaching for this one because it just makes me feel really good in my skin, no matter how much I'm breaking out or whatever. And it's interesting because it does have a light coverage, so it doesn't really correct my skin overall. It still allows everything to shine through, but it's just very blurring, so it makes my skin look filtered. I feel like I've talked about this product so much on my channel. You guys know how much I love it already. I think Cosmetics as a whole has some of my all-time favorite products. A lot of my holy grails are within their line, and this is definitely number one for me. This shade is a little bit light for my summer skin right now, but I'm just gonna roll with it. And I like to blend this one out with a brush. I feel like I get the quickest application that way. I find that it's too time-consuming to go in with the applicator that's provided. And then I just like to go over with the sponge just to remove any excess. And this formula is buildable as well, so I'm just going to go in with another layer on the areas where I want a bit more coverage, and I'm going to leave it at that for the moment. They don't have a concealer currently, so I'm going to be using my Fenty Beauty Bright Fix in the shade Butter. I feel like these two products will complement each other nicely. And I didn't want a ton of coverage under the eye because I don't think that's Cosmetics' vibe. So I'm just going to take that to brighten up my under eye. I'm just going to blend it with the sponge to get things going here. To set my under eye a little bit, of course, I'm going to be going in with my Pat McGrath Labs under eye powder. And I'm just going to be placing this under my eyes since I'm going to be using some creamy products later on. I was going to attempt to skip bronzer today because it's not really the brand's vibe, but I think since the foundation is a little bit light for me right now, I feel like I'll look off if I don't define my face slightly. So I think I'm going to take the Fenty Beauty Cream Bronzer in the shade Butter Biscuit just to subtly sculpt my face, add some more definition because right now I'm just looking a little 2D. Okay, that's a bit better. I went a little bit hard on this side and I can't take it down. With some angry blending, it's better. Now I'm going to be highlighting with the Moonbeam highlighter in the shade Halo. This is another one of their more recent launches, and it's been so beautiful. I adore this formula because it honestly feels kind of serum-y in here. It's very interesting, and a little bit goes a long way, which is nice since it is kind of a smaller product. So I just use my finger so I get use out of every little bit I take out. And I'll apply it with my pointer finger first, and then I blend it out with my middle finger that doesn't have any product on it, so I don't pack on too much. I just want a subtle amount. I think the thing that I love most about Cosmetics is that all of their products feel very well thought out and well planned, and they don't launch a ton of products all the time, and when they do, I They feel very, very special. And I of course love the packaging. I think that's one of my favorite things, but it's nice to see something in such a beautiful packaging that also works very well. They're one of the few brands that I enjoy a majority of the products. I think there's only like 1 or 2 things that I could go without, but the rest are some of my top favorite products of all time. Now it's time for one of my favorite steps, and that is blush. And they have a couple of options. First, they have this baked blush formula, and these are the Heaven's Glow blushes. They have 3 shades available in this right now. My number 1 favorite is Venetian Rose, just because it's that perfect kind of everyday sunburn without the damage kind of look. This one here is the original one, and it's in the shade Magic Hour. It's like a soft peach with a really light pink reflect. And the last one here is Faded Clementine, which is another one of my all-time favorite blush shades because it's such a unique orange. It leans more on the yellow side, so it makes it very different from a lot of the other ones on the market. I find that a lot of orange blushes run quite red, whereas this one has quite a bit of yellow in it. I did swatch all 3 shades on the back of my hand so you can see what they look like. So Faded Clementine, Magic Hour, and Venetian Rose. They also have their classic serum blushes, which is probably one of their best-selling products. I think this is what really put them on the map and what makes them stand out, because first of all, the blush bottles are so cute and the colors are amazing as well. They have 8 shades available right now, and my favorites are Cherry Splash, Peachy Peach, and of course Venetian Rose. Those 3 are my most worn, but I do really enjoy all the other ones as well. I'll quickly swatch them on my arm, might as well. I'll do that with the majority of the products today. Okay, so here are all the swatches of the blushes. So this one here is Pink Nectar. The next one is Soft Amethyst. This one is Little Lilac, Rose Milk, Sunset Sky, Venetian Rose, Peachy Peach, and Cherry Splash. As you can see here, they're very, very dewy looking, just like a serum would be. They're literal tinted serums. So since I'm going to be using the Venetian Rose eyeshadow palette today, I feel like my decision has been made for me. But the decision I have to make is if I want to use the powder version or the serum version. I feel like I use the baked powder version the most, just because this formula is super easy to quickly diffuse. So I think I'm just going to be using a serum today, just because I haven't used them in a hot minute. So I just put a dot on the back of my hand, and I'm going to be applying it with a brush. I'm using my Smith 115 to do so. Oh crap, I wanted to see what it would look like to mix the highlighter with the blush, because I saw that on their Instagram page and it looked beautiful. It was just like an extra glowy version of the serum blush. So I'll try that on the cheeks another time, but I wanted to mix that up just to see with my eyes, because I'm just way too curious now since I have some extra product on my hand here. So here it is mixed with the highlighter, so you can see it kind of brought down the color a bit. It's hard to see because of the glare in the sheen, but it does look a lot more pearlescent. That's pretty. I'm gonna have to try that out one time. I'll really shear it out on the back of my hand so you can maybe see it better. I don't know if that made a difference, but I'm gonna have to try that out one time. I feel so loopy today. I have been not sleeping because these cats are too freaking cute. I lose sleep over their cuteness. And then they also wake me up quite early. So I really need to whip these blushes out more. So stunning on the cheeks. So now it's time to move on to brows, and M Cosmetics wins the award in my books for best brow products ever. You guys know already. I use the brow cream in pretty much all of my videos. If I'm not using the Kosas products like I've been doing recently, it's this one right here. And I also adore the brow pencil because it's quite unique. It's a really fine pencil, but it has this very little oval shape to it. So depending on the way you hold it, you can get so many different angles. If you hold it on the wide side, you can fill in your brow a bit quicker, or you can get a really nice sharp line using the thin side. And I also love the actual formula of the pencil because it's not too pigmented, so it just builds your brow up slowly so it looks more natural. And I feel like you're really able to perfect your brows that way Because when I use eyebrow pencils that are far too pigmented, I feel like my brows go south very, very quickly. This way you're really able to perfect the shape and fill in slowly. And it is a bit of a tougher pencil, so you're not running through them super, super quickly. Tiny bit goes a long way, which is nice. And of course on the other side there is a spoolie, which I love the most. Now I'm just gonna diffuse them a bit with the spoolie side, and so I can place the hairs back where they belong. Now that I'm done with the pencil, I'm going to be going in with the brow cream in the shade Ebony. This stuff is just simply the best because it has an incredible hold. It fills in and fluffs up your brows very quickly, and the brush is just incredible because it's so tiny. You're able to coat every hair and control everything like you really want to. I like to kind of spike my brows first, just so I ensure that I coat every hair. Then I'll kind of put them back down. I love this stuff so much because it makes me look like I have a lot more brows than I naturally do. I was not gifted like my brother. He has the most luxurious, fluffy, thick brows, and I always just stare at them with envy. I got my dad's bald brows. Okay, so now that my brows are on, I'm going to prime my eyelids with the NARS eyeshadow primer. So now it's time to move on to eyeshadow, and here is a look at the eyeshadow palette once again, Venetian Rose. And when I first saw this on Instagram, I wasn't really paying attention, and I thought it was just the Divine Skies eyeshadow palette, like the original one. So I did have to swatch them side by side to really see the differences, but here they are side by side. So this is the original one, and here is Venetian Rose. So you can see that the original Magic Hour one is a lot more peachy leaning, which the Venetian Rose one is more neutral in tone, and they have more true rose undertones, whereas this one is more peachy. So I did swatch them side by side on my arm once again. The bottom row here is Venetian Rose, and the top one is Magic Hour. So I'd say they're kind of similar. There's just an adjustment in tone and depth. Venetian Rose is a bit more rich in tone. So I'm going to try to create a look that uses a majority of the shades in this palette. I'm first going to be using the shade Always, which is this one right here. And I'm going in with a Smith 237 to begin with. And I'm going to bring this above my crease and kind of into it as well. Now with the Smith 247, I'm going to be dipping into the shade Venetian Rose. And I'm going to pack that on the outer corner first, and I'm going to bring it up into the crease as well. Now with a small ColourPop E10 brush, I'm going to be using the shade Embrace, which is the brown, and I'm going to start that on the lower portion, and then I'm going to bring it on top, kind of blending it into Venetian Rose. I thought that brown shade was deeper than Venetian Rose, but it isn't, so I'm going to take Venetian Rose once again and kind of cover that, but at least we know it's a pretty brown. Now for the lid, I'm first going to take the shade Charm, this shade right here, and I'm going to place this in the center of my lid. Beautiful, beautiful color. Then I'm going to fade it into this shade Honeymoon. Ren's up from his nap. Did you have a good nap? Yeah. Miss Lanny just woke up too. Say hi to YouTube. Now back to the eye look. To finish off the lower lash line, I'm going to take Always again with this tiny blending brush, and I'm just going to feather it right in the remainder. And lastly, I'm going to take this shade Cherish, which is really, really pretty. It's like an intense pink reflect, and I'm going to use that in my inner corner. And I'm also going to dampen it on a brush so I can put it in the center here. I feel like that'll be really pretty. I just dampened this brush quickly, and I'm just gonna put it right in the center. I kind of dampened my brush too much, and it removed the stuff that was underneath, so Okay, I was able to use all of the shades in the palette and they all worked really nicely. I am just noticing a little bit, it's almost like the eyeshadow is absorbing into my eyelid and kind of disappearing as time goes on. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that, but that's a little bit strange. Other than that, I feel like they were really easy to work with. I do feel like the shimmer shades aren't as impactful as the other two palettes. I don't know. I know they're more on the natural side. They're not super intense shimmer shades, but I just feel like they're not as impactful. I'm gonna really pay attention when I do this eye right now. I'll be right back. So here are the eyes all done. I think they're really pretty, but I am noticing like the shimmer shade is just kind of disappearing, if that makes sense. Do you see what I mean? All of the shadows feel the same as the original eyeshadow palette I have, but they're just not performing the same, or wearing the same rather. But now it's time to move on to mascara, and of course I'm going to be using the Cosmetics Pick Me Up Mascara, one of my all-time favorites, especially for the lower lashes. Since this is a tubing mascara, it stays on really, really nicely. It never smudges, never flakes. It's just a really nice long-wearing mascara, and it's also really fun to take off at the end of the day. It's super easy. You just need a little bit of water, and then they just slip right off your lashes. So here are the eyes all complete. What do you guys think of them? I personally am not the biggest fan of this eye look. I think the tones are very flattering, but I don't really see myself reaching for this palette too much, to be honest. So now let's move on to the lips. They have a variety of options for lips, and a majority of them are some of my all-time favorite lip products. First being the lip liners. I feel like I use these all the time on my channel. They're all beautiful, and I find the finish to be quite unique because it gives a very soft line around your lips, and therefore it looks a little bit more natural and approachable for every day. My favorite shades are Fawn and Kitten, but I do enjoy the entire range here. I hope that they continue to expand in deeper nude tones as well as other shades like reds and maybe one to suit the Faded Clementine line. I'm asking for that. Actually, I'm begging for that. I would live for that. So I think it's fitting for me to go in with the shade Kitten. I feel like that's the theme of the week for me right now, but I will quickly swatch all the shades so you can see them against my skin tone. So here is the current lineup. We have Bunny, Teddy, Fawn, Foxy, Kitten, and Mink. I got really excited with the Mink swatch. So there's my lips lined with Kitten. They have a variety of lip textures. The first ones here are the lip cushions, which are some of my most used out of all of them because of their ease of use, and they're very comfortable to wear, and they feel quite nourishing. They're pretty much glosses in stick form, and I love that. They also have tinted lip glosses and this beautiful clear gloss that gives your lips a very intense glass-like finish. And lastly, they have the Infinite Lip Clouds, which are my favorite liquid lipsticks because they're very comfortable to wear. They give that matte finish without setting down completely, so they aren't kiss-proof. They remain a little bit creamy on the lips, so they're very comfortable, and the colors are gorgeous. Some of my favorites are Rose Nude, Cashmere Cream, Faded Clementine, and Magic Hour. I use those quite often, and Morning Mocha. But today I'm going to be using the lip cushion in the shade Venetian Rose just to keep the monochromatic moment going. With these you have to be a bit cautious because they're quite soft, so you have to scroll it up like a notch each time. Don't scroll it up too much, or else you're going to get like a smudgy mess and you're going to waste a lot of product. Plus a little bit goes a very long way. So here is the finished final look. What do we think? What do we think? I really love the look overall. I think my least favorite thing about this look is definitely the eyes, but everything else I think is flawless and I adore. I think this base and everything going on the skin is gorgeous together, and I'm very familiar with these two lip products. I wear them all the time, so immediately love. So now I'm going to give you my top recommendations from Cosmetics, my top products. So I have quite a few products here that I would recommend the most. I feel like all of these would suit a majority of people's preferences. So first being the lip liners. I think it speaks for itself the amount of times I use these things, but they're gorgeous. They glide on effortlessly, they wear really nicely, they never bleed or smudge. They're just incredible through and through. Of course, the Daydream cushion, need I say more? It's just phenomenal. Same with the mascara. It's the best mascara for lower lashes or even top lashes as well. I think the effect of this mascara is stunning. It's volumizing, lengthening, and wears super well, and it's easy to take off. Like, what more could you ask for in a mascara? The brow products, if you're someone who likes to have a very quick brow routine and you don't like spending a lot of time on them, these products are perfect for you, especially the brow cream. Most days I'll just run this through my brows and then I'm out the door. These are true gems. Now for the blushes, I would recommend both formulas, to be honest, depending on your vibe. Maybe if you have extremely oily skin, maybe stay away from the serum version. It might be a little bit too slip slidey for your skin type, but thankfully they have this incredible powder formula as well. And I'd say the powder formula would suit any skin type. And my last ultimate favorite from M Cosmetics are the lip cushions. I'm just missing Faded Clementine. I think I left it at the lake last time. I hope I didn't lose it, but these are phenomenal as well. Whoops. But those are my top recommendations. Everything else is pretty good as well, but the ones I just mentioned are my all-time favorites from the brand, the ones I think are the most worth your money. But now that I gave you all of my favorites, I think that is all from me today, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video and found it helpful. If you did, please give this video a like. It would help me out so very much. I'll make sure to link all of the products I used in today's video in the description down below as always, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Love you. Bye.